We're starting today in Salem because it's the first day, the opening day of the 82nd meeting of the Oregon legislature back there. Over the next 5 months or so, there's going to be hundreds of bills introduced to possibly become new laws. There'll be hundreds of millions of dollars directed to various agencies and purposes in the state. What goes on back there can be fascinating, it can be tension-filled. A lot of times I gotta tell you, it's downright boring from the outside, but what goes on there and what is decided there has the potential to affect every one of our lives. And that's why it's tonight's big story. But before we get too deep into what's happening inside the building, we need to get in there. There's not a lot of parking around the Capitol, so expect to walk a couple of blocks if you come to visit. Photog Scott and I used the back door since the front door to the Capitol is blocked by construction. And then there's the security checkpoint. For generations, the Oregon Capitol was open for anyone to walk in with anything they wanted under their coat, no questions asked. But in these troubled times, it's probably good to have a metal detector. The crew running it was fast and efficient, and it took little time to get through today. Once inside the building, you'll see lots of folks with bright construction vests, and it's common to hear the sound of jackhammers and other power tools. From the side windows, you can watch as workers seismically retrofit the underside of the building, a gigantic task that will make the building safe for earthquakes. This is the first opening day since the pandemic began, where members of the public and lobbyists are allowed in the building. The place had a feeling of excitement. The first day is also a time when the House and Senate like to set expectations and lay out their agenda to the media and the public. At noon, we gathered in a small Senate conference room where Democratic leaders shared their priorities. They will work on creating more affordable housing and tackle problems surrounding homelessness and also law and order issues. Senator James Manning has been working on a plan for universal health care and will again push for that this session.
My bill, under the concept of universal health care, will actually save $1 billion a year. In addition to that, our current healthcare system, not everybody is covered. This universal healthcare system will cover everyone.
Senator Floyd Przansky, chair of the Public Safety and Justice Committee, said lawmakers will work to make the gun restrictions in Measure 114 something that are easy to implement and avoids getting tied up in the court. He also said lawmakers will try to adjust Measure 110, which decriminalized user amounts of all drugs. He wants to lower the limit for the amount of fentanyl a person can have before it's considered more than just a user amount. Basically, if you've got more than a certain number of pills, Measure 110 would not protect you from criminal charges.
We will be looking at what is the break point as to being something that would be for personal use quantity as to what isn't. As we know, fentanyl has unfortunately shown its ugliness as to the strength and potency of it. And so you will probably see something that seems to be in size maybe smaller in personal use than what you would for someone else, just because of the ramifications.
This opening day did not run perfectly. As the Senate Democrats were beginning their meeting, something unexpected happened.
Hey, welcome. Thank you so much. Before I even introduce myself, I am going to throw it over to Senate President Rob Wagner to make a few introductory remarks.
Thank you, Madam Majority Leader. Greetings, good afternoon, everyone, or good late morning.
Recording stopped.
A minor glitch quickly fixed. It was also clear that the Democratic senators who once again control the Senate had been reminded to say they look forward to working with their Republican counterparts.
In the face of these difficulties, our state government should be solving problems for you and every Oregonian. But we do have to do it together. These challenges aren't Democratic or Republican challenges. They impact all of us. And it will require all of us, Democrats, Republicans, and independents, working together to fix them. We know that there are far more that unites us than divides us.
I look forward to pursuing these priorities with bipartisan collaboration across our chambers that will change families' lives for the better.
I look forward to working with my Democratic colleagues and my colleagues across the aisle for an Oregon that works for everyone.
But when it was time for questions, a reporter for the Oregon Capitol Chronicle asked the perfect one. If there is so much love for the Republican counterparts, why were they not invited to sit at this table?
I think you're going to see a very clear tone that good ideas come from everywhere. And all of our committee chairs have already started the process of reaching out to their vice chairs, every member of their committee, and trying to identify areas whether or not it's the issues that you see reflected here at this table. So many of these issues are representative across the state of Oregon, and I think there's a ton of area of alignment.
Meanwhile, over on the House side, Speaker of the House, Democrat Dan Rayfield, held a news conference with Republican leader Vicky Brees Iverson that sounded promising in terms of collaboration. They seemed downright chummy. Here they are answering a question about limiting the number of bills that can be entered during the session.
Within our caucus with Leader Fahey, we've been socializing as well within the Republican caucus, and we have not found unanimity yet to help limit those bills during a long session. And I'm hoping, Gary, that you can apply some pressure in this building to help us get there.
And if I might just piggyback onto that, as you apply the pressure, I suggest we start with committee bills, and then we work backwards from those. So that there is collaboration and room for us to move forward on this conversation. Committee bills.
So can we get an agreement that if we limit our committee bills, we can limit member bills?
I mean, it's a start.
We'll see. Fun and games down at the legislature.